Hey guys, Calculus Project peeps, this is Dr. Carr here trying to get you to learn and know and understand and become super awesome at rotations. So I know that you and Ms. Han's class have been doing different transformations, and you just gotta remember, like, transformations is like the Transformers, more than meets the eye. So you already learned translation, which you probably did in elementary school. It's more of a slide. You actually did a reflection. You are going to do a rotations, which is just kind of like a going around a point. Think about like the wheels on the bus go round and round, because they're rotating. So that's what we're going to do today. So I want you guys to make sure that you're paying attention, you listen. At the end of the video, if you have any questions, please let me know. Ask Ms. Han. We're here to support you. We love you. We want you to do great. And we want, at the end of the year, for that test score on the EOC to be super awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started, talk about rotation. Obviously, you can tell by the pictures that you're seeing on the screen that they took the word rotation and we're just kind of rotating it based on a particular point on the screen. So we've got a couple of parts here, and then we got this picture with the triangles. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the definition. Now, I know that some of you guys may just hate definitions, but there's a couple of keywords here that I need you guys to pay close attention to, okay? So you need to make sure that you are understanding what a rotation is. So a rotation, you go around and around, but then you're going to do that from a particular motion. And then what they're going to ask you here, and this is actually a very important key concept for this, is they're going to tell you to do a rotation in 4 different ways, okay? One of them is super obvious, like if you miss that one, I'm going to have to come to your house and just kind of steal your money, because it is really, really obvious. But the rotations that we're going to be talking about is going to be, they're all counterclockwise. It's 90-degree counterclockwise, 180 degrees counterclockwise, and then 270 degrees counterclockwise, and then lastly 360 degrees. But if you know anything about anything, you know that a circle is 360 degrees. And so if you start at one point and you go around 360 degrees, in your mind you probably should be thinking, if I go 360 degrees around a circle, I'm probably going to end up in the same place I started. So that's the one that is like super, super easy. Okay? So on your screen, you're seeing this picture, and they tell you about the rotations, but they also talk about the center of rotation and the angle of rotation. Those are 2 very important words. But like I told you guys before, in mathematics, is when mathematicians are very different than language arts people. I'm not going to ask you like how I was feeling when I'm making this presentation for you, because to me that's just kind of like ridiculous. I'm actually a little bit under the weather, but I'm managing through. But here in mathematics, it's very to the point, very straightforward. Center of rotation. Basically, that is the point around which you're going around and around. So think about that wheel on the bus go round and round, round and round. So think about that tire. That tire has a hubcap, right? So the hubcap is like a specific point on the wheel, and then the tire just goes around and around, okay? So that would be the center of rotation, and then the angle, it just tells you how much the rotation is for, because you perhaps may not want to go a full circle, maybe you just want to go a quarter of a circle, half a circle. So that's what the angle of rotation is going to be. Also, you should also remember your notation for transformations. You have the pre-image that does not have the apostrophe above it, and then you have the image which actually does have the apostrophe. So just make sure you remember those 2 things, because that's extremely important, okay? So moving forward, we're going to then look at our next thing. Let me erase this here. Okay. So rotations, and they are, I already kind of mentioned this, unless you're being told, it's always going to be in a counterclockwise direction. So counterclockwise, remember, is that you're at noon on the clock, you're going to 11, 10, 9, 8, you're going backwards versus going forward. And then we already mentioned the 4 different types of rotations that you're going to have. Now, there are specific rules that you just have to follow, and they're very easy. Now, the one point that I'm going to actually make sure that you understand here is that you have to, guess what? Have to memorize what the rule is for every rotation. So the first one that we have here is a rotation of 90 degrees. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by listing your order pair, x comma y. Now if you need help with finding your points, we can help you with that, but you're going to find your x comma y for every point. Then what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite that point using this formula. So if it's a 90-degree rotation, you take your x, y, and what you're going to do is you're going to flip them. So whatever was for x is now going to become the number for y, and what was for y is going to become the x number, and then you're going to change the sign on that y number. So here's an example. So let's say I have the order pair 4, 7. If I want to take the order pair 4, 7 and rotate it 90 degrees, all I have to do is flip the numbers. And the first number now that I'm showing, in this case it's a 7, is going to switch signs. So it's going to go from a 7, so to a negative 7. Now, if it had been a negative number, then it would just become a positive number. So let's say, for example, let's do 4 comma negative 7. If I rotate that 90 degrees counterclockwise, my number is going to be 7 comma 4. Okay, so it's just changing the numbers. It's just a switch. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up. That's all you're doing, okay? And then don't forget that for a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, the number that was in the y is going to change the sign, where you rewrite it and put it where the x is in the new number, okay? If you have a 180-degree counterclockwise rotation, this is my favorite. It's my favorite because it's all you're doing is you're keeping the numbers the same, you're just switching the signs on. So if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive, okay? So here we have a perfect example. I'm just going to write it right here. So let's come up with a number 124. And I do a 180-degree counterclockwise rotation. Watch this. This is just pay attention. So it becomes -1 comma -24. What? That was so easy, right? Like all you do is just switch the signs. So if it's positive, like I said, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it then becomes positive. So we talked about 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, and now we talked about the 180-degree counterclockwise rotation. Then the next one is going to be the 270-degree rotation counterclockwise. And again, it's going to be very similar to the 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, but instead of changing the sign on the number that was in the y, we're going to switch the sign on the number that it was on the x. So it's the opposite when it comes to the signs to the 90-degree counterclockwise. So let's do an example over here. So let's say we have the point, well, I'll take that point, 2 comma 3. So what do? I'm just going to flip the numbers. Bam, bam. And remember, now you're going to change the sign on the number that you have for the y coordinate now. Okay, so it used to be on the x, so now it's on the y, so it's going to be on -2 right here. That is it. So notice these two, the 90-degree counterclockwise and the 270-degree counterclockwise are basically the same. They're very similar. The only thing that you have to be very careful about is the signage, okay? So just be careful on the sign. Now, the last one that we're going to talk about here, oops, get rid of that. Get rid of this and go back. Sorry, guys.